Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin back about 44.6k, so slight move up here in the last 24 hours after, Bitcoin yesterday really didn't move at all. Generally, together with Bitcoin, the crypto market in a slight upside, especially looking good is VeChain. So I covered VeChain yesterday in a video, and we can see that many other cryptos are moving up as well. So what is Bitcoin doing? 44.7 actually now, and Bitcoin seems to be getting closer again to the resistance level of this symmetrical triangle. I mean, you can draw it as an ascending triangle, but I've got my problems with it because this here, we made slightly lower lows going down here from that W wave to that A wave. And I would prefer a symmetrical triangle. In the end, it doesn't matter a lot. What remains important is that to the upside of the triangle, we have to break here this 45.8k level, which is this peak here from the beginning of February. If we do that and ideally get a retest on the 4-hour or the daily chart, basically with a candle coming down to the former resistance level, future support, depending on if we break out or not, only then I will open a long position, and then we can go all the way, in my opinion, all the way into that green zone here between 55 and 65k. I will specify this a little bit further depending on how we are starting from here. However, even if we reach that area, then I think we will go down afterwards. That's based on the Elliott wave count of a larger ABC wave here. This would be the B wave. Within that B wave, I'm looking here at a wave C. In the end, a wave C is impulsive, so we should really start to get going here soon. Bitcoin continues to move slowly against that resistance level, so we're going to zoom in a minute. My primary expectation would still be that we exit the triangle to the downside. That is purely because this is a trend continuation pattern. We're coming from above. We are in a wave 4, in my opinion, and that wave 4 oftentimes has such a triangle formation, and then you would exit the triangle to the downside. But of course, I don't know. If we don't exit the triangle now to the downside, we are going to probably move above here, break out to the upside, get into that area before we then come down. And that's what I'm looking at here. These are the two key scenarios I'm looking at. Someone asked me here, this wave 4, is this not already in the wave 1 area, because the wave 4 is not allowed to cut into a wave 1? No, absolutely not. The wave 1 is up here. The wave 1 is somewhere around 56k. So it's not invalidated, this wave 4 scenario where we could just break down, make our wave 5 here in the last leg down, and then complete this correction. So if I zoom in a little bit, what is Bitcoin doing now? I showed you yesterday that Bitcoin is really forming here a more bearish pattern. But again, they don't need to break out to the downside, but it's just something I found interesting in the chart. They more often than not would break to the downside. That is basically a bearish pattern, indicating that there might be some exhaustion. But these patterns, they are sometimes less reliable than we want them to be. It's still something that is worth having on the chart, because it gives you an understanding when a breakout could occur and gives you already a little bit of a feeling of the sentiment in the market. So this ascending wedge would normally more often than not break to the downside. You can see that we are approaching a decision point here on this ascending wedge, because we are moving very close to that resistance level here in white. That is that descending resistance line of that triangle at 45k. So we already touched it here. Bitcoin burned its fingers, moved down again after it broke above 45k, moved down then to, in the same candle, I think moved down to 44.2k, recovered a little bit, moved up now again, moved again to 44.9k rejection, but still in the ascending wedge. So it continues to move higher here. You can see that in the ascending wedge, just by following the structure, you're moving closer to against that resistance level. And it will be really, really interesting. I think today, probably today, yeah, we should see a decision here in this ascending wedge if the price stays within it and breaks that trend line to the upside, or do we just find resistance here and break out of the ascending wedge to the downside? That will be very, very interesting. On the 4-hour chart, we can already see negative momentum on the MACD. The RSI close to being overbought. But no, I think it didn't update. So this is now already reducing negative momentum here on the MACD. Indicating we might see a little bit either sideways or a little bit of a push to the upside, given that we still have the long signal on the ADX. Also the RSI is not, I think it was overbought. It recovered a little bit, but what is always very meaningful is the daily chart. Now on the daily chart, we now see the first decreasing momentum bar. If we turn around, we obviously need one or two more of this, like this one, where we can see actually that the momentum is decreasing. That, coupled with a breakout out of that triangle or that ascending wedge to the downside, would indicate that that uptrend here might be over. But again, it's too early to say. We are still within that ascending wedge. We only have one bar here on the MACD on the daily that is decreasing buying momentum, and it's not significant yet. The 8-hour continues to do that. We talked about that yesterday. That would then at some point translate over onto the daily. So it will be interesting to see if that is really turning bearish. If we get the bearish cross here on the 8-hour, I think we're going to exit the ascending wedge to the downside. What is very important and very interesting as well is the EMA ribbon. You can see that the price here, especially on the shorter time frame, if I go to the 1 hour, you can see how the price is currently dancing on the EMA ribbon. So a breakout out of that ascending wedge to the downside would also result in breaking the EMA ribbon on the 1 hour chart. On the 4 hour, it's still quite far away. So to break it on the 4 hour chart, we would need to break below 42.7K. Just really to give you the key support levels here, that if we break them, there is much more likelihood that we actually move further down. At the moment, we continue to climb, but it is important to understand that we're climbing only in this ascending wedge. So the price currently has to climb until it finally breaks out of this pattern, either side. Yeah. My primary expectation would be a breakout to the downside, but of course I don't know until a breakout happens. And on the other hand, we're getting very close to that 45.8, 46K breakout level here to the upside of that whole triangle. That would also activate the other wave count for Bitcoin, where I would then just open a long position. Very interesting, could be an interesting day. Yesterday was a bit boring, but Bitcoin seems to be climbing higher, and we're getting here close to a decision point, and we might see that decision today. So hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.